Welcome to Importance of Financial Planning. In this video, you will learn the meaning of financial planning, recognize the importance of financial planning, and describe the process involved in financial planning. After going through this video, you must be able to state the meaning of financial planning, differentiate between short-term and long-term life goals, explain the importance of financial planning, describe financial planning process. Observe the picture carefully. Obviously, I'm sure that everyone who is looking at this picture now can relate to it. We dream of giving good education and secured life to our children. Not only that, we also want to enjoy our life with our better half. All these dreams turning into reality depends on one important factor, that is finance. We all earn money, but how to spend that hard-earned money and how to grow wealth is an art. In this video, we'll discuss about the importance of financial planning. Before that, let's first understand the meaning of financial planning. In the process of meeting life goals through proper management of finances, financial planning is a process that a person goes through to find out where they are now financially, determine where they want to be in the future, and what they are going to do to get there. Financial planning provides direction and meaning to a person's financial decisions. For example, buying a particular investment product might help to pay off the mortgage faster, or it might delay the retirement considerably. In simple, financial planning is what a person does with their money. Practicing financial planning for ages, every individual who received money has to make a decision about it, the best way to use it. Next, let's understand what is short-term and what is long-term goal mean. For short-term point of view, financial planning helps to maintain timely availability of money for day-to-day expenses. It includes all the decisions ranging from 1 to 2 years. Long-term goals, however, include decision and plan from 2 to 10 years. For example, owning a house or a car. Financial planning helps individuals to wisely use financial resources to grow and sustain long periods. So as to achieve our short-term or long-term goals, financial planning is very important. So let's see how financial planning helps us achieve our goals. Financial planning helps us to forecast our cash flow. It helps individuals to draw a roadmap with a clear picture of fund requirement to meet daily expenses and to reduce unnecessary expenses on special occasions. It will also prepare us to face future emergencies. Financial planning gives a clear estimate of the funds required for various activities. This brings out surplus funds which can be invested and more wealth can be grown, and it can help an individual to meet the future demands. A person gains confidence of people only through his conduct. People or banks lend money only to those people who they are confident of. By adopting financial policies and financial planning, an individual can develop confidence in the mind of the people or bank who can lend him money on credit when he is in need. In this ever-increasing competitive world, financial planning helps in bridging the gap between the current financial position of an individual and the future requirement. As of now that you have learned importance of financial planning, let's now see who can help in planning our finances to meet our requirements. A financial planner is an individual who is trained by a recognized financial institution and qualified to undertake the task of preparing a financial plan for an individual or an organization. Financial planners have a major responsibility and committed towards clients in ensuring their financial objectives are met. They also guide and advise clients from time to time to meet their financial requirements and to optimally use their money. Financial planner follows a certain step for efficient financial planning. Next, let's look at each one of them in detail. For effective financial planning, financial planner should follow certain well-defined structural steps. These steps provide a roadmap which every financial planner executes to ensure an efficient financial planning. The picture shows steps involved in financial planning process. Let's look at each one of them in detail next. This is the first step in financial planning process. The main objective of this step is to focus on understanding the relationship between the client and the financial planner. The financial planner tries to develop a relation of trust with the client. To gain confidence of the client, the financial planner should follow commitments, respect confidentiality, and show interest in other financial well-being of the client. The financial planner should maintain good and smooth communication with clients and should also possess effective listening skills. A financial planner must encourage the client to share their views on their financial matters and requirements. To develop a good relationship with the clients, the Financial Planning Standard Board (FPBS) India has provided with the basic code of ethics and professional responsibility that a financial planner should follow. These are: place the client first and do not place personal gains over the client's interest. Provide the financial planning services with integrity and honesty. Do not decide or subordinate one's principles. Service should be imparted objectively and impartially. Be fair and reasonable in the professional dealings. Manage the conflicts and treat the clients fairly. Conduct and behavior should be professional. Maintain competence while delivering professional services by maintaining skills, abilities, and knowledge. Protect the confidentiality of client. Build a relation of trust and mutual confidence. Provide these services diligently in a timely and thorough manner. This brings both the client and financial planner on a common platform, wherein the roles and responsibilities of both the parties are made clear. Henceforth, both parties work together to achieve the client financial goals. Once the relationship has been built between the client and the financial planner, the next step is to collect client information and identify the investment and financial objectives in detail. During this step, a financial planner draws a plan to collect client information that aids him or her in financial planning. Client information may include personal details such as age, the number of dependents, the availability of finances for various requirements such as education of children, for health management, and much more. Client information must be gathered carefully. The collected data should be accurate and complete, as even a minor fault in the information may hamper the financial plan, thereby affecting the client financial goals. There are two types of data that can be collected from the client: quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative information may include list of client assets and liabilities, short-term fund requirements, existing insurance or liabilities, current income expenditure, income requirements after retirement, time frame of event goals in life. Qualitative information may include tolerance of risk, attitude towards inflation protection and accumulation of wealth, consideration of liquidity, taxation and ease of management, attitude towards investment types or options, personal or long-term goals, financial strength and weakness, hopes and fears. Quantitative information can be collected through questionnaire, while qualitative information can be inferred from client statements, comments or questions. Goals are important to understand as they give a direction to financial plans. The financial planner must also gather the goals and objectives of clients, which are categorized as short-term goals. These goals are of short-term nature, ranging from a few months to 1 year. Medium-term goals. These goals are of medium-term, ranging from 1 year to 5 years. Long-term goals. These goals are of long-term nature, ranging from 5 years and ahead. In this step, client information such as income, expenditure, goals, liabilities, assets, insurances are evaluated. Once the income and expenditure have been analyzed, a budget is prepared by the financial planner. This helps in optimizing the expenses and costs to increase client income and savings to achieve future goals. Now next, look at the issue that a financial planner must address while identifying the financial problems and risk profile of clients. While identifying the financial problems and risk profile of a client, a financial planner must address the following issues. Insurances. The financial planner must understand if the client has any existing insurance such as life insurance policy, household policy, medical policy, and so on. Risk appetite. The financial planner must identify the current allocation of resources as per client risk appetite and the potential to generate returns or savings. Time horizons. The financial planner must identify if the time horizons of the set goals match with the time horizon of the investment and the financial plans. Liquidity. The financial planner must be clear if there is enough liquidity to meet unexpected or emergency expenses. Tax saving instruments. The financial planner must analyze if the client has invested in any tax saving investments. Curtailing expenses. The financial planner should analyze if there is a possibility for the client to save more money by curtailing a few expenses. Transfer of wealth in case of death. The financial planner must know if there is any client willing to claim the transfer of wealth in case of a death. While analyzing the financial status and risk profile of the client, the planner may deploy mathematical and statistical tools to analyze the collected data. Apart from the mathematical and statistical analysis of the data, the planner may also perform a SWOT analysis on the data. This enables the planner to understand the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the possible threats or risks that may arise with regard to the financial plans. The financial planner must also analyze the client investment model, investors, based on the risk appetite. There are mainly 5 kinds of investors. Conservative. For such investors, capital preservation is very important. They require high level of secured income with negligible risk. The capital growth in such cases is moderately low. Moderately conservative clients. For such investors, a balanced and a secured income with a modest level of capital is important. The capital growth in such cases is higher as compared to conservative investors. Balanced investors. For a balanced investor, a balanced income and a capital is important. The income of such investor is higher compared to moderately conservative investors. Moderately aggressive investors. For such an investor, capital growth is more important than secured income. They can accept short-term fluctuations in their financial portfolios. Aggressive investors. Such an investor is ready to bear high amount of risk to get a higher return. They can accept fluctuations in their financial portfolios. This is one of the most important steps wherein, based on the data analysis, the financial goals are set. The following points explain the factors based on which the financial goals are determined. The first and the foremost is the current investment market in the country and the strength of client data. The current investment and the likely investment scenario is based on several factors prevalent in the country. All these factors are responsible for determining financial goals. A positive investment scenario in the country enables the planner to determine robust and long-lasting financial goals, while a weak investment scenario leads to detrimental goals. Also, these situations are dynamic and must be considered strictly. Likely increase in the expenditure of the client based on his or her requirements and needs, such as higher education of children, age and other factors. These impact the financial goal of the client. Risks that are likely to occur in the future, for example, ill health and other constraints that might impact the financial goals of the client. Once the financial goals are determined, the next step is the planning process, is the development of the recommendation model and its presentation to the client. The financial planner presents the findings and the recommendations and alternatives, which are presented in the form of recommendation document comprising of several aspects of the financial planning process. The recommendations suggest the client about various alternative opportunities to meet their long-term goals. These recommendations decide an appropriate asset allocation pattern with logically spread the various asset classes like equity, debt, cash and so on. In case the client is still an earning member, he may be suggested to invest in equity and less in debt, as there is long-term horizon with greater risk appetite, whereas senior citizens might be suggested to invest more in debt and less in equity to have regular income with less risk appetite. This allocation of asset based on factors such as age, risk appetite, income, goals and so on is called strategic asset allocation. Once the asset allocation is done, the next step is to decide the sector within the asset class. For example, if the investor wants to make investment in fixed income securities, the sector should be selected, namely government securities or bonds. Then the investment product is selected. While doing so, risk and other factors should be considered. Proper attention should be given while diversifying the risk, and there should be enough liquidity, that is cash money, to meet any contingencies that may arise in life of a client. These situations should be drafted in the recommendation document. Once the document is ready, the suggestions, recommendations and alternatives should be explained to the client. The recommendation document should be written in simple language that is understood by the client. The rationale of the document should be clearly written and explained. Once the recommendations have been discussed with the client, the financial planner should discuss the implementation of these plans. The financial planner should always be a written form, as they give a legal protection to the financial planner and forms the basis of future planning. The written document also gives the opportunity to the client to understand the recommendations and advise more clearly, as generally it is difficult to retain verbal recommendations. Once the recommendations have been drafted and the financial plan is prepared, the next step is to implement these financial plans. However, before implementing the plan, the client must sign a letter of engagement or authority to proceed. Once the form is signed, the following implementation process is followed. Fill up of forms such as mutual fund investment, fixed instrument investment and so on. Submitting redemption request and withdrawing some of the existing earlier schemes and investment made by the client which are not worthy or fruitful. Filling forms either investing in new insurance or increasing the amount of existing insurances to increase the returns. Making wills and power of attorney for the future. After filling the forms and placement of funds The financial planner should send all the certificates, account statements, proof of investment to the client and verify the receipt on the client side. This is the final step wherein implementing the recommendations are tracked, monitored and controlled based on the client goals and objectives. The planner briefs the client about the progress and deviations. The planner also suggests the necessary corrective and preventive action plans to ensure achieving financial goals. It is essential to review a plan annually or once in 6 months to keep the plan effective, as every 6 months the economic and financial conditions of the country changes and might impact the plan. A periodic review also helps in determining whether the asset allocation made earlier is effective in the current scenario and is able to achieve and define financial goals. The review also includes revision and rebalancing of portfolio, shifting the focus from poor performing assets to better performing assets. The changes that lead to the rebalancing of assets include macro level changes. These changes are related to the economic condition of the country and the government rules and regulations, which include rise and fall in share market, changes in the interest rate, changes in the tax legislation, changes in the tax legislation, changes in the value of currency, changes in the exchange rate, increase or decrease in the inflation rate, changes in the economic cycle, changes in the investment performance of an organization in which an individual invests money based on the economic performance of the country, micro level changes. These changes are related to the changes in the life of the client, such as changes in the income level of client, increase in annual living expenses, increase in the salary, increase in business income, changes in financial goals, changes in risk tolerance level of client, decrease in wealth due to calamity, increase in wealth from a source like winning a lottery or getting a share of property, loss in business or loss of job, changes in health condition of the client like suffering from dangerous diseases or met an accident. All these changes need to be reviewed and necessary changes should be made in the existing plan. The summary of the tutorial on importance of financial planning has been put on the screen. I'll pause for a few seconds to allow you to read it. I hope you have understood the meaning and importance of financial planning. So if you are not practicing financial planning, then you should start right now to achieve your goal even faster. Thank you for watching the video.